Welcome back to the second hour of the Casual Convo show, where we have conversations about topics that affect the communities, personal and business relationship. We always had a casual convo, so you don't have the tough convo. In the first hour, we had Army veteran and candidate for Anfield City Council, that's Asheville, North Carolina, India Maria Pearson. She told us about what she got planned, what's going on, and the whole lick. And she's back.
India.
India Pearson.
Oh, you see me ready to check them for you, right? I got
But
it.
you know
Thank
what?
you. Thank you.
My bad. See, I didn't know she was coming back, so I was trying to do it my way. I didn't have the screen up. I had my notes up. That's why I didn't see y'all until I was like, oh, she right there. My bad.
I waited, like you said.
Oh, okay. Well, let me change the introduction again. I'm your co-host, Idris, aka Bosco from the Bronx. I got my host, the one and only, the beautiful Coco's in the building, and
Hey y'all.
candidate for Asheville City Council, India Maria Pearson. She's back in the building for the second
That's
time.
right.
Yes, yeah. So we're gonna move it right along. We're gonna talk some more politics. But Coco, you're gonna take the second hour lead.
You were doing such a great job.
Yeah, I know, but I don't want all the glory. You deserve glory too.
You can take it.
Black women, remember? Black power. I'll do this for
Okay, now you're being facetious. It's okay. It's okay.
I ain't trying to take.
Now you just want to be facetious.
I ain't trying to take the whole story. No. Anyway, go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna just do the intro to the second half. So, unlike the first half, which was a great first hour, thank you, Paul, for the comment. But the interview was completely awesome. Bosco interviewed his daughter, who's running for Asheville, North Carolina City Council, India Pearson. Great interview, great energy, great spirit, powerful voice, powerful sister. So we already gonna claim this for her. So the second half, we want to dive into some things that's going on currently in the political avenue. I think it's also important before we start with this, because this may come up. I know India is going for the local city council, but I think it's also important because, we still like to bring awareness. And for those who may not know, it's also important to understand what's going on in your federal and your state governments as well, because sometimes that system trickles down. You got to get money, like when you mentioned the reserve earlier. We need them to put some money up in there too. You know what I'm saying? You gotta get some money, and to understand all around the vote is powerful. From city, and to understand, get to know who your councilmen are and councilwomen are, who you put in those seats locally and in the state, and then also in the federal. So with that being said, so y'all saw Trump just won Iowa, right? So he's all over most of the news stations about this when, and he's popping his stuff. You know what I mean? So talking big stuff. What do you guys think that means? Because a lot of people saying like, do you think he's going to like pretty much take it all? Which it seems like the Republicans and the Democrats' biggest fear right now is him winning the election.
Well, to be honest with you, the way I look at it, and this is nothing against him or any candidate, but I figure if you are disqualified from getting a job because you are a convicted felon or you've been charged with a felony, why should you get? And also, I'll add, if people consider a person over 70 or 80 over the hill when it comes to getting a regular job, why are they given this leeway to run the country? And the main thing is about the felony. If you are charged with a felony, true, you're not convicted. But I know a lot of people who were charged with felonies who were never convicted still couldn't get a job. So how can anyone run for the highest office and you're charged with 36 felonies?
And you want to abstain list.
Right. But you can run for the highest office and run the country.
And be accused of sex trafficking and everything else.
Something's not making sense.
I think that, for me, I think it says a lot about the power of money. One, I think it also says a lot about who is voting for him and who are in these seats. Because let's be real, even when they said they were going to release this list, I can only imagine, and they only giving you a little bit at a time. But for the most part, it's so many political figures as well as people that's in this billionaire status, and they all in the same circle.
Yep.
And then I'm gonna just merge it in with the other topic of the border. So when we talk about the border, and I know somebody going to say it, we got to deal with the other issue with what happened in New York on another show because that's a deeper conversation that got to be had. But right now on the political market with the borders and they completely open, everybody coming in. So when you have him and all of these other people, they not really worried about the borders. They trying to. Did you see I can't think of her name. She asked, what state was that? She asked the citizens to open their doors.
Oh yeah.
To house immigrants, people you don't know.
Yeah.
So can you imagine? And even like, damn, can I say that? Let's just say a lot of the immigrants are being sex trafficked or sold or things like that. So it's like y'all not even trying to close them. It's like, oh no, we can find somewhere for them to go. But like we talked earlier about the homeless issue and the housing issue. So how is it that you're shutting down schools and reopening all of these buildings to house people who are not here, giving them the resources, the money to be established, have a nice place to sleep, three meals, all of this stuff, education, but you cannot do that for the homeless population that we have here. And they still on the streets. That's like a slap in the face. So what do you think that means as far as like this election? Because that's not on the ballot.
Whatever, they never cared about us. It's the same way they do when you have certain things that happen overseas. Let's say an earthquake. Let's say the war with Russia and Ukraine. We can send billions of dollars there, but we got people here starving in our own communities. But we don't have the money to build schools. We don't have money to fund after school programs. We don't have money to do none of this. But we got billions and trillions to send overseas. This is the issue I have with both sides of the coin, Democrats and Republicans, because I'm like, all these guys are in one room deciding where this money goes. And I don't hear anyone in there saying, this is why people need to realize and understand the political structure. You got the federal, you have the state, you have the city, well, the ground, city and council, local. You have to vote in your local elections. You can't just say the president didn't do this or the governor didn't do it. You have to vote in your local election because, see, those are the things that affect you right away, what's happening right there in your backyard. Because, see, those guys up there, I don't trust none of them. Like I said, I used to be a Democrat. I'm an independent now because I don't like the way things have been going the last, 8 years or so, 4 or 5 years. I don't know. I don't like it. I just don't like this distribution of money. And someone who's ex-military, I even see how the military is getting screwed around. You got people in the military who are on food stamps. You're like, come on now. That shouldn't be. And you got veterans out here like myself who are struggling to even eat because you get a disability check, but because of that, you can't get food stamps because they said you're making too much money. So that tells a guy 60, 62, 63 that you have to live on what you have. You're like, well, so that means I went over there and did all this stuff, come back with injuries, and I got to come back here and struggle.
Yep. That's the point that I think India was trying to make to like
Mike
Paul.
Taylor, what's up?
I know he's been missing in action. But to Paul earlier was that it's only but so much you can do because so many people get slid in there, and most people in most communities, I'm not sure in Asheville, but I know here, couldn't even tell you who is in office.
Yes,
they couldn't tell you like anything. So, but then it's like everybody does this and say what needs to be done should be done, but nobody is involved in the communication. Like I remember, I know I always said, I know y'all sick of me saying that, but like when I was younger, like my grandma, my aunts, and even to this day, like my aunt Margaret, shout out to her, she will still get on the phone and call, and she know them, like she be having their numbers. Hello. Like every little thing, they oh, I'm going down City Hall. What you going down City Hall for now? Oh, because I don't like how they doing this stuff with so and so and so, and they gonna tell me what's what. Because I'm gonna go talk to so and so because I know they there, and I'm like, how you know they there? Because I called down there, somebody told me they down there, so I'm gonna go down there. I'm gonna get in my look, and they go down there. Her and her little girlfriend, they go right down there, and it's like they're heavily involved, and we don't do that anymore. We're so distant from that part of our community, which is why it takes away. So when we talk like about bike lanes and all that stuff in different communities, your voice is not going heard because it's not being, you're not going to the right avenue. It's one thing to blast people on social media or amongst your own friendship groups, but then there's another thing to make your voice heard to the people that need to, and then have a community behind you, because now it has to be done. For instance, something, what was it? If Mike's on, he told something happened with like a homicide in like Canton, right? You know, predominantly Caucasian part of Baltimore. And people were fighting in the little districts, and they had houses and this stuff. They was like, no, somebody needs to do something. Da, 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 da. Guess what happened? The mayor, everybody, that's so you know, they had police, everything. The presence was crazy. And everybody like, well, what about us? This is and the third. They did something we didn't do. They held their district accountable for what was going on. So it's like, also know who's in your district, know who the people who are involved in those things, and make your voice heard to the right people. Because if you don't, it's going on deaf ears, because you can't do nothing but complain to each other.
I knew speaking now, she said she didn't want to brag, and this is not bragging. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to tell her to tell them what you did in terms of the street in PVA, how it got paved.
She said, ah.
Well, so what I will say, so where I live, the street is very
Baltimore,
how we would say, ate up.
I'll just say Baltimore. She Coco know what I mean. Coco is Baltimore-ish. For real.
So yeah, there were really big potholes throughout my community, and so I went around and I took pictures of them, and then I went over to the housing authority, and I explained like, hey, this is the issue that we have here. But there was one space in particular that housing authorities, like, no one knew who it belonged to. Was it the city of Asheville? Was it Asheville Housing Authority? Who did it belong to? Well, nobody knows. So some of the streets got paved while others didn't. Well, this particular big pothole that will damage your house, damage your car, like, it was just ridiculous. No one knew who it belonged to. So I connected with someone from the city, and we had a conversation about it. Like, hey, we want this repaired. What needs to happen? Who owns this? Who what? It was some back and forth, and come to find out, it belonged to the city of Asheville. And so at some point, it was a long process. It was, but whoever talked to whoever and whatever, and it was eventually patched up, and all was well for a little while. Now that hole is there again. So I guess it was a temporary fix. So now we have to resolve that issue again. And since there's so much turnover in the city, and I have to figure out who to connect with now. And hopefully soon, I'll be on city council. And so I'll have those resources and know exactly who I need to speak to about that. But yeah, I did. I went around taking pictures of all the potholes and the areas that needed to be fixed, and we made it happen.
Coco, let me tell you how big this hole was. It had to be about I tell you, your whole tire would go in it. It was that big. It was if you hit it, your car was going down and coming back up. It was a bad one. Yeah. And see, this is why people need to pay more attention to local elections and stop complaining about who's not doing this when you're not going up to the city hall and going to the city council meetings or the mayor meetings and stuff like that. People complain like with the bike lanes. We got a lot of bike lanes, which is great. But see, the problem is, like down where we stay, they redid the whole park. It still floods out because we got the river down there. but they redid the whole park. But when I go down there and do my walk, I get my bike and ride down there, I don't see any black people down there. I might see one or two. And in our areas, black people like just a minute or two away, but they're not frequent. But see, people complain about why is this here? Why is that there? This is for everybody. But our people don't use it. But we complain about it. We got bike lanes all down our park. They hook the park up. But they're not walking the trails and stuff like that. And see, I also said before, yeah.
I think what happens is sometimes we're stuck in this mindset.
Yeah.
If we've never had it, and then all of a sudden we have it, it's like, what? And a lot of times we're like, some from our culture are like, oh no, that's white people stuff right there. Because we're not used to, some of us are not used to having certain things. So, no, that's for the white people. I mean, and then the reality is, that may not have been improved because of us or for us. Maybe that wasn't the intention, but either way, it's there for us to utilize. So sometimes, we're just stuck in that mindset. And then a bigger issue around Asheville is gentrification. So when we sometimes see that, we're like, oh, that's gentrification right there. Oh, no, we don't want to participate, in that. That's part of the gentrification. That's part of pushing us out. We see somebody walking down the street with a dog. Oh, that's
she's not lying.
Sometimes that, it really happens. And that's a change. And,
she's not lying. She lied.
For the better, we may not take, but again, sometimes it's our mindset and what we are used to, and then some of us know why that is really there. You know what I mean? So it's kind of two-sided, but yeah.
Yeah, but she's right, because I know we got an area called Montfort. When we first see the white people with the dogs, oh, here we go. You see dogs walk around. I walk with those dogs around.
I've heard that before. I've heard people say, you have certain neighborhoods, and I've heard people say, well, when you see a white person walking down the street with a dog, then you know what's next.
You know
what I mean? And there has to be there is some truth to that. I mean, let's just be honest. There is some truth to that.
It is.
So
I agree with Mike. Mike said it raised the rent up in poor areas. Especially, I mean, I can only speak for what happens here, and I definitely agree with him, because, like you said, when you see one person like walking with a dog or just like different, know something is coming down the turnpike. Next thing you know, that you start seeing the homes and stuff being rebuilt. The same house, they might throw some little paint or something up on there. Next thing you know, that house is selling for way more than what it's worth, even in the same neighborhood, or someone will buy it for dirt cheap and rent it out for like $2,800, and then when you go outside, everything around you is condemned, and it's the same thing, and it's like, oh, and then it's like a way to be like, okay, because we're going to revitalize this, and it's a way to get you out, or they'll go into we're going to only take the voucher, and so now you think that's the guaranteed money.
On my block, it used to be just like where she was talking about, not as bad, but my street used to be pretty rocky. Last year, they started from the very end. Not only did they repave the whole street from top to bottom, they even gave us parking spaces. I was like, damn. I'm sure they gave us, and we're talking about houses. They gave us parking spaces like in the street. We like, damn. We even got a place where we can roll our trash cans up and put them on the street. Now, we're not talking about apartment. We're talking about houses. I was like, man, they hooked us up,
That was a long time coming, but that was changing. Some people don't take too well to that type of change.
I loved it.
And I totally understand. But at the same time, let's take advantage of that, because that road is nice.
I ain't gonna lie, I love it. I love it. I love it.
Yes, thank you, the city of Asheville.
Yeah, I love it.
They and the contractors.
They even put my mailbox in a whole new spot. I was like, well, bet. I ain't asked for it, but I'll take it.
I mean, I wanted to go back into this. I really wanted to get y'all opinion on it. I think I I ramble sometimes. So one of the things was with Trump, and we talked about this before, was how he wants to close down the borders. Now he's still talking about the issue is with the borders, and we done that's what he was trying to he's using that to his advantage. So you have a plethora of people who are voting for him just because of that, and certain things that's going on, which we get and we understand. What do you guys, in your opinion, I mean, just what you think may happen, foresee with this situation with the borders and so many immigrants coming into each state, where though they just like flooding the states, and there's really nowhere for them to go? What do you think will happen?
Well, I think with the borders, if they're gonna close them from everybody, just don't pick one group of people and say, okay, y'all can't come through. If you're gonna close them for everybody. But then what goes along with that, you have your imports and your exports. Okay, are you still gonna do business with them? Like, just say you close the border to Mexico, which I know they got a lot of people coming across. Are you gonna stop the exports and imports from them? Because a lot of stuff they make are for us. Like with China, are you gonna, he been beefing with China. Are you gonna stop dealing with them? Because they're gonna feel like they're in their feelings, like, oh, they're trying to keep us from coming in. Okay, we're gonna. I mean, I don't know, man. There's no one solution. But I do think we need to start worrying about us here in the country, in the states, in the cities, in the counties, in the neighborhoods. We got to start worrying about us, because if we don't, a lot of stuff is going around and we don't even see it because we're worrying about the wrong stuff. It's a lot, man. There's no one solution. Be honest with you.
I agree, and that's a really big issue. And I feel like, we definitely need to start with our local issues. We can't tackle everything. And I think if we take it piece by piece, then, we could work it out. But, what's happening with the border, it's happening everywhere, just on a smaller scale. Just think about in your community, in your neighborhood, what's happening. You have people that are not from, your area moving into that area. How do you control that? You have, that's why the housing market is going up and all that. How do you control that? You can't really control it without doing damage control too at the same time. So I really think we just need to start on a smaller level and worry about some of those issues and not get tangled in the weeds of what's the huge picture. I think that is just too much for us to do. That's why you have others at those higher levels dealing with that. It's almost like, I hate the whole pyramid thing, but it's almost like that. We have someone at each level that handles the different issues. So that's all.
Let me. I believe this. I got you. Let me introduce somebody.
Already.
He hasn't been on the show in a long time. We call him the mayor. This is Mike Taylor. What up, Mike? Long time no see, man.
Do y'all see the nervousness on my face? I'm nervous for Mike and Paul being up here at this time.
It's been about a good year and a half since you've been on the show, man.
Yeah, new job, new responsibilities, man. The government got me working.
Oh, we got Paul too. Oh, wait a minute. Let me introduce another guy.
You didn't hear me say I'm nervous?
Yeah.
I'm gonna just go on mute for the rest of the. Let me get all the questions off. So it's only two.
Let me introduce Paul too.
Okay,
another one, friend of the show, big time contributor, local guy. This is Paul Howe. This is the more you can handle. Howe. What's up, Paul? What's up, King Paul?
God evening, Queen, Kings, brothers, and sisters. How's everybody?
Hey,
I'm about to go on mute for this one.
I love you, daughter. I love you, daughter. I will never do nothing to dispute nothing you're doing. I love everything that you're doing, sweetie.
Thank you.
I think I'm about to go on mute. Let's go handle this one.
All right,
it's
fire over this joint tonight, man.
And then Mike done rubbed his hands.
Mike getting that killer. I'm waiting fire ready. That's what it is.
I'm waiting for the questions. You feel me?
You rubbing them sticks together. That's what it is, man.
So because I'm definitely going on mute after this. I'm already scared. So we were discussing the immigrant situation. What I mentioned was, everybody was talking about Trump winning Iowa, and a lot of people do agree with his take on the issue with the border. So my question was, what do you foresee being an issue, or what do you guys think about the immigrant issue like in the future? That was one. I haven't asked this yet. I'm gonna just get it out and let y'all just go forward. So the second one, the other one was, in the news they keep talking about the threat of war being, I guess it kind of go hand in hand, war being on American soil this time. Do you foresee that happening? What do you think? And we just gonna go there, and then I'm gonna let y'all go, and I'm gonna ask the
All
last
right.
one. Got a little bit of
Okay.
time.
All right. Can I answer it first?
No, yeah, Mike.
All right. So you're focusing too much when it comes to immigration. You're focusing too much on the border. The border has nothing to do with immigration. Um, as of last year, you had like over 100,000 Ukrainians get brought here, and they dropped this off in Maryland, Pennsylvania, and in New York. Right now, they got a homeless sector of them right now because what they did was they allowed them to come from Ukraine and Afghanistan together, and then promised them housing, which they don't even have it. And that's why New York right now is going through a spiral of COVID. As far as the border, nobody really comes here, right? The only people that come here is from Guatemala. They don't come from Mexico. This is the narrative that they kept pushing. That's why when the Haitians got to Mexico, they sent their asses back home because they don't want no black immigrants. It's happened in Miami when I lived down there. They got a thing that's called wet foot dry land that anybody from Cuba that comes and they put their feet on American soil, they can stay, but Jamaicans and everybody else get deported back.
Right.
So we don't care about the border. If you focusing only on Mexico, you done miss what's happening right now. You're gonna have another pile of like Palestinians coming over here, right? Because the United States ended up breaking the truce with them to make sure that they were safe, and now they're being targeted. So that's one. Two, wait for the U.S. government. We're never gonna have a war on the U.S. soil at all because we control the seas. So when most people get talking about the war, we're never going to have a war touch down here. We govern every sea. This is the reason why when Trump was like, well, we need to get out of NATO so that we can pull our Navy closer to our borders. When he did that, the Republicans went crazy, the Democrats went crazy, and he said in the U.S. Security Conference that if y'all want us to govern your seas, your lakes, your rivers, y'all would have to pay us. You know what I'm saying? So we're never going to get a war here. It's never going to touch home because we control we control all the trade routes. So we control all the waterways from Alaska that Russia has to make peace with us in order to be able to do business. We control the Mediterranean Sea. We control from the canal that's in that what they call it a canal, but it's from Morocco and Spain. That little peninsula. We govern all of that, right? Not only that, we have the most presence in Djibouti, Africa right now. So we're never ever going to be a war on the United States soil. Our main threats are not physical. It's all like cyber because I work in cybersecurity.
Yeah, cyber. Yep.
So it's never physical. Like we're not even worried about a physical threat. We got enough defenses that we spend on defense government every year. That's how I stay employed. It's the reason why when they ask for the budget is so huge and I get paid. Right? You have what they got. Now they have manless drones. So we're not even going to have a frontal attack nor a ground attack because our biggest ground attack enemy is China. So why would we engage in a ground attack at all? And we lost almost every ground attack after World War II. We got our ass whipped in Korea, and we got the shit beat out of us in Vietnam. We're never going to do that again. And we didn't even win the Afghanistan war. All we did was compromise and then gave them back to the motherfucking tribesmen that was already running it, and we got the fuck out of there. So we're never the theory that we're going to fight a ground war is dead, right? Because it's not possible for us. Not only that, our military has a low recruitment state. It does not happen. So all this about they're gonna do this, they're gonna do that. No one's going to invade the United States because you have to get past our Navy, and our Navy is all over the world.
Well said.
All right, thank you for clearing that up. I'm just asking because I'm going with the headlines. That's what that was about. That's why I asked. Thank you.
Well said.
Oh, I see you scratching your chin. This on y'all. I'm told you I'm back on mute.
Oh, thank you kindly. I agree with the brother as far as immigration and immigrants go. That's all sleight of hand. Everything about the U.S. is a sleight of hand. They got everybody looking over here talking about the wars over here across the sea and all that stuff. That's not our biggest concern. Our biggest concern is the war that's going on here in the U.S. right now. The war on black people. It's been going on. It's going to continue going on. No matter how much marching and everything getting done, whatever. It's still a war on black people in the U.S. of America. You know, I'm 62 years old, so I done been through a whole lot of stuff. I done lived through a whole lot of stuff. When I tell people the things I done lived through, they wouldn't believe me.
Mm-hmm.
But I watched this country go from treating us like crap to treating us like half crap to treating us like we're a little bit decent. Now they're going back to treating us like we're crap. They got us paying attention to their wars and all their problems that they creating for themselves, while they inflicting pain on us right here at home. And nothing. Nobody is speaking out on it to get nothing done about it. We have a march here, we have a protest there when somebody gets killed. It's got to be newsworthy, people getting killed, for somebody to pay attention. Meanwhile, every day, black people are just getting killed. Still, people getting hung, getting found, getting bodies getting found behind prisons. I mean, this shit ain't stopping these people. But we paying attention to what's going on with other people. I'm all for protection of our country, but we got to protect ourselves within our country from our country. It don't, to me, I don't see it making no difference who the president is. It doesn't matter, because that's their agenda.
Yep.
Running this country, giving the appearance of running this country is their agenda. We voiced all our opposition to this, to that, whatever, blah, blah, blah. We get a few things. They give us a few things, give us a few bits off the table, and appease us. But they never are out to please us. I'm saying they talking about reparations. When you talk about reparations, what can you make reparations for when you can't even admit what you done? How you gonna give somebody something when you're not gonna admit, hey, we did these people totally wrong. We kidnapped these people from their land and brought them thousands of miles across the damn water, and they never done nothing to us. We enslaved these people. We separated them from their families that they'll never see again. We enslaved them. We tortured them. We treat them like pure shit over here. And we whipped them because they wanted to be free, because they didn't do nothing to deserve being enslaved.
Yep.
That's what I'm looking at with this country here. And I'm saying, people say, well, we done progressed. That's so long ago. That has not been so long ago. How can it ever be so long ago when you got people that separated from their families forever?
Yep.
How could it be so long ago? I mean, all this stuff that's going on now is nice and dandy. I'm all for change and progression. But yet still, if we keep forgetting and wanting to push aside what has happened to us in this country, we're never going to be able to progress.
Mike?
Okay, so I'm with him, but at this point, man.
Can I just say one thing, Bosco?
I went off track there. Y'all have to forgive me.
No, you good.
No, you good.
No, you
I
straight.
just want to say one thing to Bosco. Can we give ourselves a pat on the back, because we be saying that like every week?
Yeah, we do. Between
okay, I'm back on mute. I'm
between
sorry. Hold on, because we do have a young lady here. Let's be respectful.
Yeah.
And dear, do you have anything to add to it before? Because these guys gonna go.
No, I am listening, because y'all getting it deep into the politics of the that type of stuff, and I'm just listening.
Gotcha. Okay, I'm going back on mute.
Okay, Mayor. Mayor Mike.
All right, so I am a historian of Black history, right? But at this point now, it's going to be world history. So we have three things that's going on. One, knowledge of self. We getting the knowledge. Majority of us wasn't from Africa. Majority of us was here. Now it's documented, and now they want to own up to it. The genocide that's happening in the Dominican Republic for the cobalt mineral, which builds everything from computers to lithium batteries. They actually let the genocide go on now. They killed over like almost 10,000 people for this one mineral that powers the world, right? At this point, Black people can have as much say as they want. They can march for what they want. There's something that I've learned years ago that if we don't control an industry, then we'll never have a voice. Um, all was that they grew up in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. Um, that's great. I'm born in the 80s. Right now, it's more about seeing what the collective bargaining around the world can get. Because at this point, we're all under attack. Every indigenous person now, right? So now, and it's about is it like it has always been. It's always been about minerals and resources, right? So you had Burkina Faso and all of them decided that they was going to stand up against France and booted them out, and they ended up getting their prices based on their mineral, right? When Nigeria did the same thing, they looked at that and then looked towards the Congo, who actually controls cobalt. For most people that don't know, is the mineral that make your computers work, your cars drive, your hair grow. Is a whole bunch of stuff that they do with this mineral. They allowed refugees that were trained to go in and shoot the natives, right? Because they know if they get a revolt and they actually raise cobalt to its original price, then the world will shut down. Okay,
Right.
as African Americans, we don't really hold something that will make the global population worry about us. Okay, so since the inception of the United States, we've survived, we've thrived, we're the reason why there's a humanitarian part of the Declaration of Independence, right? So from the 13th all the way to like the 16th, right? That's the last change that they're gonna give us right now. White people are losing control. Okay. So if you have a whole continent that has decided, all 53 countries, because people think Africa is like it's a continent, it's not a country. Um, so if all 53 countries can get their mind together, because we need a unified stance. You know what I'm saying? Like black people have been fighting by ourselves. We've got nowhere. Okay. Everybody celebrated Martin Luther King, but they forgot his last speech where he actually admitted, like, yo, we coming for our check. You know what I'm saying? We coming for this money. You know what I'm saying? I don't care nothing about being free. I don't care nothing about integration, none of that. He
Mhm.
said it felt like I led my people into a burning bush, what he called integration.
Yep.
So we're really coming for money. The problem is that we have black people that love the system so much that even when they talk about reparations, they got to involve dumb shit like uh fucking scholarships to go to college and all this other shit. You learn from the people who still get reparations from the Holocaust, from the Japanese internment camps. You learn from those people, and you say, "Well, this is what we want. We're not bending, right?" Too many black people are trying to say, "Well, yeah, if we lean towards education, and then we can lean toward fuck all that. Give us the bread. We will know how to distribute our money. Period. You just showed that you can give all of us our money when y'all start giving us the stimulus checks. It was shown. You know what I'm saying? It was already there. So you saying that everybody that's black you can't identify? Of course you can. You literally gave everybody their stimulus checks, not once, twice. You know what I'm saying? So that was an excuse, right? We can fight 100 battles with no army. You know what I'm saying? Like we can fight 100 battles. I know African Americans want to feel like, or black people want to feel like, well, damn, yo, like we don't know our roots. Some people, other people who do know, this fight won't take place until their power structure is destroyed. Their power structure has always been to monopolize the resources. It has nothing to do with monopolizing people. Your ass got brought over here because cotton was a resource. Your ass got brought over here and made slaves because tobacco was king. Your ass really got brought in the Caribbean because sugar was like cocaine. It was the
Cocaine. Yep.
most desirable thing. Those were the resources back then. Right now, the mineral fight is in Africa. Every country that decided to go independent or team up or to form a federation has decided to look at, well, they control the gold. The
That's why the
president of
Chinese are there.
Yeah, the president of Uganda said the Chinese can come all they want, but if y'all
Hmm.
not willing to build a nuclear power plant, no need for y'all to start digging underneath my ground.
Right.
So every other president has had that meeting. We have to understand that sure we can march. Go march on. You know what I'm saying? I don't give a fuck about you marching. You know what I'm saying? Give you some banners and some waters, my nigga. You can go to your local politicians that's black shit. They involved right now. They're involved with, well, if the system ain't broken, why not fix it?
Hey, hold on, Mike. Hold on, Mike. I mean, Keith said about it's something I wanted to say also about King. People are so fixated with his speech about "I have a dream," but they don't realize what he said towards the very end of his life. Right. It's like he flipped it. Like, hold up, I'm done with this BS.
Exactly.
But go ahead, finish.
Yeah.
I want to say real quick. Wale just mentioned something that we were talking about in the private chat. He said they are full and Africa has resisted them and kicking them out. And I was just explaining that to Rich, and even like a lot of Americans, they like, no, y'all gotta go, get up out of here. They protecting their own. And then he says we need to watch the BRICS. And again, I pride ourselves on it because we ahead of the game.
So do I have to wait? Is there a way to raise your hand on here or something?
No, go ahead. I'm good.
Okay.
No, that was just me chiming in because me and Boscoe been saying this for weeks, and y'all just confirming what we've been saying. So we just gotta say we told y'all so when we can say we told y'all so. So we told y'all so.
Okay, because I wanna go back on what the brother King Mike there said, as far as not everybody coming to this country from Africa, and there already being some black people here.
Yep.
See, that's the thing that's being hid from everybody. Nobody's paying attention to that because see, the African American doesn't apply to everybody.
That's right.
Black doesn't apply to nobody. American applies to the black people that were here already. And long as they can keep you thinking that you're an African American and not knowing your true self, you have no rights. Understand, I'm not going to be calling myself no African American. I don't call myself black. I address people like that, black kings, black queens, because the black is a symbol of strength for us, but we are actually Americans.
Yeah, we're
born, true and bred Americans. And we've been kept from knowledge of ourselves, of that fact, so we don't have no rights in this country. Because believe me, all blacks weren't slaves.
Right.
Blacks developed this country, and that's what they're keeping us from now. The resources of this country, minerals. It's about minerals elsewhere. It's about minerals here in this country as well.
Yeah, land especially.
Exactly.
Oh, just
these people didn't just wake up one day owning 1,000 acres of land. Mm-hmm. They ran black people off their land. They took it from them. They killed them for it. Mm-hmm. That's where you gotta start going back for. You want to talk about reparations? You gotta go back and make reparations with the Americans that are black.
That's why I always say that we have to start. We got to start like right here at this community level, and start. We got to work as a community because we could talk about the governor, we could talk about the president, but that's up there. Everything has a foundation. You got to start at the foundation. Go without a stable foundation, you ain't got nothing. And see, that's why we got to start working together and putting things together rather than looking for things that like with me, like I always tell my brother Dwelle, I say, I don't concern myself with things I can't change. Like I don't care if the earth is flat around. I mean, that's just me. I don't care if it's flat around, you know. I don't care if there's Martians. I know there's alien. I know there's somewhere out there. Don't call me crazy, but I know that there's some things I can't change and I can't worry about because I can't do nothing about that. I can't make the earth flat. I can't make it round. I can't do that stuff. I got to worry about things that I can take care of. Like if I can get this guy to look, dude, we can get that piece of land over there. Then I'm like, let's go, man. Let's do something to get that land. Or something like that. That other stuff, like you was talking about, Mike. Glad you back though, because you always bring that.
Folks don't want to have them hard conversations though. We can come here.
Mike brings it.
I'm saying we can come here and have the conversations, but we can't have these conversations in our community because people don't want to talk about this stuff.
People don't want to talk about
this. This is the stuff that they want to keep hidden. They don't want to discuss this because that makes them have to look at other people and say, hey, We got to hold people accountable, starting with ourselves. They don't want to have these conversations.
Right. So many
And
times people have told me it's old man energy. I said, no, it's not old man energy. We'll call it
no,
what you
no,
want to
what
call
is
it.
no? So
Yeah.
this what it so this how this works. So you say you look at your warrior class, right? So every race has a warrior class, right?
Yep.
On Earth. You know what I'm saying? This is something I discussed with a couple of my African coworkers, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Africa doesn't have a warrior class. You know what I'm saying? They don't they fucking forgot how to fight back, right? They just
Right.
recently started, right? The warrior class has always been in America,
Mm-hmm.
right? So we've always had the power to change the world everywhere. Somebody got killed, we end up causing a riot and a protest in Israel with the Ethiopians that was getting discriminated against. Palestine stand with us, like we've always been the warrior class, right? Right now it's about knowledge, right? So now you have to fight through where do you start? Well, you start with who owns your genealogy. Most black people don't know that the Mormons own our genealogy. Okay, if you want to know where you come from, go to FamilySearch.com and they're going to tell you you have to go and make a donation to the Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints $1 so they can give you your motherfucking records.
Right.
And after you make that dollar, you'll see that ain't no slave ships in my dossier. You know what I'm saying? I went all the way back to 1501. My people's been here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So then you got to understand, well, before the reclassification by William Pike in fucking Virginia, what were you? You know what I'm saying? You looking at a Yamasee Nation Indian. You know what I'm saying? Like you looking at before the Geechee even came here and integrate with us, we were Geechee. Okay, there's no such thing as a Seminole tribe. That's some shit white people made up. You know what I'm
my
saying?
father was geeky.
Yeah. So there's no such thing as Seminole tribe. That's some shit white folks made up so they could classify so-called runaway slaves and Indians fighting together, right? So the Chickawaws been black, the Blackfoot has been black. You know, and then the Mesquite is what we part of. Half my family part of. We're black. Okay. When you find out, after you find out that the Mormons own your shit and how much money you got to pay that dollar, they only gonna give you but so much. So you got to make sure that you have your great grandmother, you run it all the way back because they give you a specific time because you have to redonate or become a member of their church. So when black people say, "Oh, I don't know where to start at," I just told you. You go to ancestry.com, but you got to go to Family Search first. You got to make that dollar donation and you got to pull as much information as you can because once you get it, you go to ancestry.com and you plug it in and then it'll work out your genealogy.
You see, that's how basically me and my niece did ours. And we've traced it way up and way back. And we've been tracing it. I don't know. My aunt started it 40, 50 years ago, but we picked it up like 10, 15 years ago, and we've been following it ever since. Yeah, and like I was telling my brother about the Blackfoot. I said, dude, where we lived in New York,
I'm at to turn the light on.
they owned that land until
Correct.
it got ran out.
Well, yeah. I mean, Central Park. Central Park used to be an Indian
exactly.
land.
Exactly. It was Indian. Yeah.
But and then you got to go. But most people don't understand. Like when they go, okay, well, in 1912 they call it Red Summer, right? So it's the bloodiest time where African Americans or black people came back from World War One and they were getting trained how to use guns. And when they was met, they was dragged off the bus and killed, shot, and then they rioted everywhere to run people out, especially the St. Louis farmers. That's how we lost our land. It was the Homestead Act, but once they said terror makes you leave, terror makes you leave. Okay.
Right.
So you're looking at right now where everybody say, "Oh well, black people don't have a voice. We're not together." Of course we are together. The one thing that we learned is we can't have a general out front shit running your mouth because they're gonna smoke your ass. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is that the more that we have to go underground, the safer we feel. Because black people has always worked underground. You know what I'm saying? The reason why there's an underbelly to the United States is not because Italians and all that made it. We made the system first, right? So even when it came to prohibition, some of them had to go through us because we owned the farmland. So when people start like trying to figure out where we stand at as a culture, we always stand like we always stand. Durham, North Carolina is motherfucking the first black Wall Street. And when they expose that, then y'all gotta give that land back. You know what I'm saying? Then when y'all talk about the Wilmington
1898.
riot, how y'all killed all the black people and burned the town and all of that, y'all
1898.
got
Yep.
y'all gonna have to give that land back and replace
Yep.
those properties. You know what I'm saying? So
Yep.
it's a shift. Like right now,
Mhm.
there's a part of the Loch Raven Reservoir was an all black town that they flooded. We
Mhm.
just found that out. So now you got to make amends for all the lakes and the towns and shit that you flooded. So you're looking at right now, the more knowledge that we gain, the more the more stuff that we can come up with. But our communities will
Mhm.
always be under siege because it's not from the government, it's the local government. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
The local government has decided that they get more money if you on drugs. They get more money if there's more guns in the street. Think about it. The switch was made by a white guy.
Mhm.
So you telling me a switch that got put on a 9mm found its way to Chicago. Not only that, y'all took him to the Supreme Court and told him that the switch was illegal. So how did he get all these guns
How they
modified
get all these guns? Right.
in
I was
every
gonna say, how they
black
get all the
community?
guns? Right.
Right. So you saying these kids is running around where they can turn a regular semi-automatic to automatic. Okay. A
Mhm.
white man invented that switch. The United States stopped it. How did it get manufactured where these guys got AR-15s in Baltimore and they shooting 60 rounds at their
And
victim?
they got them here too.
Right.
It's
So how they get
crazy.
them so
Yeah.
fast?
How they get them so fast?
So the owner got took to the Supreme Court now. You can look it up.
Yep.
They said that the switch is illegal and you can get it
Mhm.
for 100 years. We want you to stop making it.
Yep.
How did it get into the black community so fast?
Quick.
Cause they put it, they made it where you can order them things, where you can order them on a computer, and then assemble them, and you have them. They made it. Oh, it's illegal.
Nah.
It's illegal. It's illegal to have it, but it's not
Right.
illegal to get it.
No, but this is my thing. The wiring mechanism to make the gun
And
is definitely difficult for you to do it.
Yeah.
So how what they said was that switch has I think 3 wires,
Mhm.
right? You have to break down this gun. No 18-year-olds doing that.
Mm-mm.
Ain't no
It's coming like
15-year-old
that.
doing that.
Now you got 9mm and
It's
stuff
coming.
shooting 40
It's coming
rounds.
like
Like,
that.
Right. They
But
really
didn't they
assembling
have
it.
it like in well, I'm sorry to cut y'all off. It was
Mhm.
something probably like a couple of months ago, sometime last year. It was something, y'all know I'm always watching stuff, where they show or they were talking about how in Chicago they were pulling up in trucks and letting
Right.
them just
Mhm.
pick whatever you want. So it's kind of like they're putting them in our neighborhoods because they know what we're gonna do with them. We gonna tear each other up. So it's just it's that it's coming like that for free.
Mhm. Mhm.
And everybody like, well, where the guns coming from? It's coming from there. So it's like, what is the point of gun laws?
Well, all right, so
Right.
let me tell you what the point of gun laws. So the point of gun laws is by a guy named Robert Williams, who wrote a book that's called Negroes, Guns for Negroes, or Negroes for Guns. He was in North Carolina. He wrote the book and he advocated against Martin Luther King. Right? He did not. He said nonviolence was stupid. I'm not saying they get my ass whipped. I've been in wars. I know how to use a gun. Right? They ran him out of North Carolina. He ran all the way to China. He recently died, I think, 2012, 2013, where he was allowed to come back into the United States. But his book was so powerful that they ended up sparking the Deacons of Defense in Louisiana that was made by the Freemasons of the Prince Hall Lodge down there.
Mhm.
That said that we don't care what Martin Luther King talking about. If the Freedom Riders come through here, we will protect them. When they asked Martin Luther King to go down to Biloxi, what was it? Yeah, Biloxi, North.
Like,
It's Louisiana. He said no. He said because it goes against my nonviolent stance. And when the Klan tried to come in and burn down both towns, Baton Rouge and New Orleans, they got shot out of it. Yeah, so none of us have always been on this nonviolent shit. They keep trying to push this. They're trying to push this this narrative. No, we all had guns.
You say
You know
what,
what I'm
Coco?
saying?
No, I was asking Mike, text me the name of that book, please.
Okay, yeah, I got it at home.
Hey, look here. I got to jump to the other podcast. Y'all know how busy I am.
Oh, you got another podcast. You famous,
dude. Okay, so we can close.
Wednesday's a long day for me, dude.
I'm gonna change it. Mike, what you doing next week? You trying to come back?
Yeah. Wednesday I'll be good. I'll be off.
You need to come back, man. Golly.
Hey, listen, man. I'm in cybersecurity, bro. They got me busy. You know
Last time you was on here, Trump was president, man.
That's good. We need protection.
Yeah,
We
I'm
need protection from these cyber bullies.
We
For
can do a
real.
continuation.
Thank you for
I
working
know
cyber
Bosco has
protection.
to go. And this is like really, really interesting learning. Mike, I want you to send me the book.
Okay.
Bosco, because I know he has to go. But tune into the Richie Hicks Jr. podcast on YouTube. They have a dope show.
Oh, I gotta check that out then. That's where you at now?
And let me tell you, Mike.
Yeah, we're gonna go over there after this.
Let me tell you, Mike. Since you've been gone, I've been stirring the pot for you, man. So
I
now that
seen
you're
it.
back,
I seen that. I told you I had to get on. You was getting a little
now that
aggressive.
you back,
I said,
yeah.
Yeah, you can relax now. You go back to mixing tapes and shit. I got you. I told her the other day. I said, oh, he getting aggressive. I said, I gotta get back on. I've been
Yeah, you
busy.
gotta get back on here, man. I need somebody to stir the pot some more, man.
But I listened to
show?
Yeah, I listened to last week, so it was cool.
You gonna close the show, Coco?
Huh? No,
You gonna close the show?
I went on mute.
Got me doing all the work. All right, we're gonna close the show. Once again, thank y'all for tuning into the Casual Convo Show. You can watch us every Wednesday from 8 o'clock to 10 p.m. Eastern Time on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, TikTok, and of course, Facebook. Check me out from 6 to 8 p.m. on handradio.org. I'm mixing everything nonstop, 2 hours of music. Want to thank everyone who came in the comments. Want to thank King Paul. Want to thank the mayor, Mike Taylor. He came back. Want to thank actual North Carolina candidate, India Pearson. Vote for. I'm about to say. Yeah, I got ready to say her birthday. Vote for February 15th. Vote for February 15th. Asheville, North Carolina. She's done the footwork. She's been there. She's done that. I'm not just saying that. She's out in the community, big time, same as King Paul. I am Bosco from the Bronx. For my host, Coco. There's so many people on the panel today, man. Coco, Rich behind the boards. We are out of here. Skeet, 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 skeet. We out of here.